Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. The Miami Heat have lost again to another terrible team at home. The Miami Heat lost to the San Antonio Spurs 115 to 111. This was after a disappointing home loss earlier in the week to the Detroit Pistons. The Heat came back from that horrible loss and bounced back with a win against the Los Angeles Clippers on Thursday night. But just like we've experienced throughout the entire season, every time the Miami Heat take one step forward, they take two steps back. And this was just another puzzling loss at home against a very young and inconsistent San Antonio Spurs team who were 7-18 and one of the worst teams in the entire NBA, and they are in a complete rebuild mode, and they were able to beat the Miami Heat 115 to 111 on Saturday night. That was back-to-back victories for the Spurs. I believe they had an 11-game losing streak prior to winning back-to-back games. So Jimmy Buckets has been playing amazing, and he continued that streak, and Jimmy led the team and led the game in scoring with 30 points. Kyle Lowry returned from a one-game absence. He missed his first game of the season against the Clippers for rest, and so he came back. And even with that, the Heat still allowed the Spurs to hang around for the duration of the night. It was a close game up until the fourth quarter, essentially, but the Heat were up in the first quarter. Second quarter, they were down. Third quarter, we were tied. And then fourth quarter, the Spurs won that quarter as well. Keldon Johnson scored a team-high 21 points and grabbed 6 rebounds. And Romeo Langford, the former Boston Celtic, added 19 points for the Spurs. The Heat had some good play by some of their players. I mean, Tyler Hero had 23 points. Caleb Martin had 14. But starters Bam Adebayo and Kyle Lowry only chipped in with 12 points each. So Bam's, great 2 weeks were surprising to a sense. He's been more aggressive. He was averaging 28.8 points per game over like a 5-game stretch, but he's had a few duds and he's dropped back. So not sure how confident I am in Bam progressing moving forward either. But yeah, just horrible game. I'm at a loss for words again. Again, puzzled as how we lost to this team at home. There's reasons why we lost, but there's just no excuse. Speaking of Miami's bench, which I didn't really mention, Miami got nothing from their bench, essentially, outside of Victor Oladipo scoring 11 points. He looked pretty decent. Again, he's fighting off that rust, but he played 23 minutes, fouled out, but he was 4 for 7 from the field, so can't complain there. Duncan Robinson and Max Strus were basically non-factors. They were both 0 for 4 from deep. Dwayne Dedmon was the only other Heat reserve to play, and he scored just 2 points with 5 rebounds, and I think he was 0 for 4 from three-point range. So, why is Dedmon shooting 4 3-pointers? That's just horrible. The Heat got outscored 47 to 20 in terms of the bench scoring. So, just saying that out loud, that's one of the main reasons why the Heat lost. And how can you expect the Heat to win when they're outscored by 27 off the bench? The other big issue was rebounding. The Heat have been horrible this year when it comes to rebounding. Obviously, we're undersized. We don't have a floor. The Heat lost the rebounding battle 46 to 32. And indicators for most teams, specifically the Miami Heat, is if you lose the rebounding battle, or points in the paint for that matter, then they're going to lose. The Heat are 8-2 when they win the rebounding battle. So that just goes to show that they've lost many games because of that. I don't know where the Heat go from here now after losing to 2 teams that had single-digit victories coming into the games against the Miami Heat. It's just disheartening to see that players like Romeo Langford and like Zach Collins have their best games of the season against the Heat. The Heat are typically known for having a good defense, but I don't know where that defense is. It's just they're inconsistent in every aspect, whether it's offensively or defensively. Offensively, they're pretty consistently bad, so like ranked 27th in the NBA in scoring. So no surprise there, but just allowing players like Zach Collins to have, you know, almost career games is pretty unfortunate, right? He had 16 points and 8 rebounds. Zach Collins, 6 for 7, was just crushing the Heat on the offensive glass. He got called for, he got fouled multiple times while going for rebounds, and he could have had 3 or 4 more rebounds added to that. So yeah, just another tough loss. It just seems like this Miami Heat team is cooked, and again, I keep mentioning I can't wait till January 15th and hoping that we can trade some folks. I don't see any of our bench players as assets anymore, so Duncan Robinson has the worst contract in the NBA. I don't know if he's movable. Maybe the Lakers are desperate enough to maybe want him. Maybe we can even trade him straight up for Davis Bertans, right? And just trade 2 horrible contracts. Because at least we can get some size with Bertans, who's 6'10", 6'11". So I think we just need to make some sort of move, right? So Max Strus, again, inconsistent, is losing value in a contract year. You know, was a very good player last year for us, but I think he's hit his ceiling. Gabe Vincent didn't play last night, but again, he's playing inconsistent. So Duncan Robinson, Dedmon, like all these folks are not playing well. Our reserves were our strength last year. Our depth was our strength last year. Our three-point shooting was our strength last year. Our defense was the strength last year, and all of that is missing. So I just think we need to do some sort of trade and blow this up, honestly. Like, we either need to trade Jimmy Butler and give him the opportunity that he deserves to actually win a championship. Like, it just sucks seeing Jimmy put up 30 points and 25 points against like the Pistons on 10 for 12 shooting and lose to these types of teams, right? So I just feel bad for Jimmy, and I think he deserves an opportunity to win. So I wish it was here with the Heat. We didn't do enough in the offseason to get him that third player, that Donovan Mitchell, that Kevin Durant, or even that Miles Turner type player that could have gave this team the depth and the position that we need, the stretch four. So anyway, this team sucks. I'm just tired of the inconsistency. Like, they step up against the better teams. They beat the Boston Celtics, they beat the Clippers, but then they lose to the Pistons and they lose to the Spurs. So don't understand. Anyway, I don't think we can turn this around. I'm tired of being optimistic and pessimistic, but that's how these videos are going to be. I assume I'm going to be happy when we beat whoever they beat next, possibly the Pacers. They're going to be on a 4-game road trip, so there's very winnable games in there. But with this Heat team, who knows? Who knows if we can actually beat the Pacers on the road. I don't know if we can even beat Detroit on the road. Who knows? We are playing the Knicks, we are playing the Pacers, we are playing a few teams that we could win against, but again, this team is too inconsistent, so I'm not going to make any predictions. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and comment on this video and to subscribe to the channel. Talk to you guys soon.